All right, welcome to another video, and we're going to distinguish between the common stock component of a stock price and what we call additional paid-in capital. All right, so I want you to understand a couple things. You know, we've talked about common stock as a class of stock, right? And then we've also talked about preferred stock and cumulative preferred stock. But when we are when we're making a comparison, say, let me bring the calculator over here, and we say we've got a share of stock that's $35, okay, and we're going to sell that share of stock. If the par value of that stock is $1, well, then $1 goes to common stock, and the remaining 34 goes to additional paid-in capital. All right, so I've got an arrow here from par to common stock. Whatever the par value is how much is allocated to the common stock account. We could do the exact same thing. We could do the exact same thing for preferred stock. If we had preferred stock that was being sold at $35 a share with a $1 par amount, we would say that $1 goes to the par value of the preferred stock, and that $34 would go to the additional paid-in capital account for preferred stock. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we have some information for a company. And we are only going to be dealing with common stock in this example. So it says here, common stock and very, very important word there, additional paid-in capital has with a value of very, very little, 20,000 shares authorized, 4,614 shares issued and outstanding. Now do note that this is in millions, so this is not literally 4,614, and this is not 42,820, because this is all in millions. Okay, so we've got a lot of other information here that we really don't need to answer this question. It says for the 42,820 million reported as common stock and additional paid-in capital, what portion is common stock and what portion is additional paid-in capital? Okay, very, very good. So all we have to do to figure this out is take the number of shares, and we can actually use 4614 because they put the million there for us. And we're going to multiply it by, and I'm just going to take this decimal by decimal so we don't have any mistakes, 0.001. Okay? So not very much. And then we could do this a couple of different ways. We could say, okay, what is the remainder if we had 42,820 minus 4.614? We have our answer. Now I'm going to round this because it says round your answer to 3 decimal places. Okay. So let's see here. Do we actually have to do that? Okay. We've got 42,815.386. Okay. So based on the instructions, that would be our answer. So you can see that almost all of this amount, this 42,820, which again is in millions, is allocated to additional paid-in capital. And this is actually somewhat realistic. in the sense that the par value, you can actually have a negative par value, but the par value for common stock is usually much, 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 much lower than the market price of the stock. So if we issue shares of stock for $25 a share, almost all of that is going to be additional paid-in capital. Okay, so we don't see a lot of examples like this because they're messy and they're difficult to understand. So usually we'll use artificially inflated high par value amounts so that our numbers come out a little bit cleaner. You know, we'll say something like, well, you know, we can say, okay, let's see here, we've got 42,820 divided by 4614, and we can actually calculate our market value as being about $9.28 per share. And of that, we basically have 1% of 1 cent allocated to the par value. So that's why our numbers here are so different. 4.6 roughly versus 42,815.4. Okay, but again, most of the time in textbooks the examples will not be so widespread, though this is actually a fairly realistic example. Anyway, hope that helps some make the distinction between what we call common stock and additional paid-in capital. And again, we could do this with either the class of stock known as common stock. We could also do this with preferred stock. All right, that's it for this video.